Good morning, this is your math sensei, Mr. Sensei, and this is STAAR Review Practice Test 2023, problems 37 through 50. So a student borrowed $480 from a friend. He agreed to make monthly payments. So we're not paying continuously, we're paying monthly payments of $96 with no interest until the loan balance was paid off. The function shows models this situation where f of x represents the remaining loan balance. So here's our loan balance. And please remember f of x is y in dollars, loan balance, and I'll just put a dollar sign here. And this after student has made x monthly payments. So this is the monthly payments. Number of monthly payments. Okay. So I'm going to say, hey, let's look at these questions that says, which statements are true about the domain and range? So which are true about the X, the monthly payments or number of monthly payments, and range is the loan balance. So this is the dollars, and this is Y, and this is the number of payments, which is X. So I would suggest let's plug this in to Desmos and see what it looks like and see what we can figure out. So sharing with Desmos. We have y equals 480 minus 96x. Oops, there should be an equal sign, not a minus sign. Equals. So we end up getting this function. It looks almost like a vertical line from here. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom way out. Once I do that, it's like, okay, there's a little bit of slope here. Zoom out a little further. And somewhere in there, we cross the x-axis or the y-axis at 480. And over here, we cross it at 5 and 0. I'm going to kind of make that quick sketch on my paper. But we see that 480 is our y-intercept, and it crosses at 5, 0 down here. So I'm going to stop that share and make a little sketch. My little sketch is going to look something like this. This is 480. And what I should label it 0, 480, where this is my x, this is my y, and this is 5. Now, we know that this is M for months, and this is our dollars. So this is my y is the dollars, this is my months. So it looks like we had 0 months, 1 month. So the domain is our x's. So these are their x values. The range, these are ranges. So these have to be y values. So the y values are the number of months. Well, we had 0 month, 1 month, 2 month, 3 month, 4 month, 5 months. And we can't say it's all real numbers because we're only paying monthly. So it can't be all real values. That's why this one's wrong. The domain is this. No, this was dollars. So this is wrong. Okay. Well, the range, no, that's the number of months. So that's wrong. It can't be all real numbers because we're paying on a monthly basis. So it's only decreasing every single month. So it's not all real numbers. And the range of the function is these values. Yeah, we had 480 and we went all the way down to 0, decreasing by 96 each time. And if I had a calculator, and I'll show you this real quickly, 480 minus 96, okay? Minus 96, minus 96, minus 96. That's where those values came from. So those are the values where each month it was at 96. Okay, a little bit of a tricky problem. If this one doesn't go well for you, the next one will. So what are the solutions to the equation x plus 13 times x minus 6? Well, first off, a solution is where it crosses the x-axis. Let's graph this thing. Now, I happen to know when we graph it, we're going to get a parabola that crosses at something like this. okay? And our solution is where does it hit the x-axis? So let's plug this in and see what happens. I didn't share. There it goes. So sharing now, and I'll go ahead and plug in parentheses x plus 1, 3. Let's just close all that out. Now I'll try again. X plus 1, 3, close that, and then x minus 6. So there's our parabola. And all we care about is where does it cross the x-axis. So let's zoom in on that. Our solution, we have one at negative 13 and 0. And we have another solution at 6 and 0. Because that's where they cross the x-axis. So now that we have that, let's look back at let's go ahead and have those labeled. Okay, so now that we have that, let's go back and look at our paper. So I copied that information down. So x is negative 13, okay, and x is positive 6. The one that has negative 13 and positive 6 is 38. This is a problem that you have to get right. Okay, moving on to 39. A sample of a substance with an initial mass of 963 is decaying. Okay, as soon as they tell me it's decaying, if they say it's decaying or growing, then I need to use the exponential equation, which is y equals a times b to the x, where b is my decay, but it's 27%. So please remember, that's the same as dividing that by 100. That 27% is 27 divided by 100 is 0.27. And remember, we're going to have to subtract from 1. So we're either going to add 1. If we add 1 if it's growth, we subtract 1 if it's decay. So in this case, we have y equals 963. This is my initial or my starting amount. So y equals 963 and 1 minus 0.27 raised to the x power. Now, we don't want to put the 1 minus 0.27, so we're going to put that into the calculator. 1 minus 0.27 gives us 0.73. So y equals 963 times that 0.73 to the x power. And that basically came from that 0.73 is 1 minus 0.27. Please remember, we need to convert that to a decimal. We do that divided by 100, and we're subtracting from 1. All right. Moving on to number 40. Which graph best represents this? Well, I need to rearrange this so that it looks like y equals. First off, real quickly, there's something I can do very, very easily. I see that this does not have a line under it. Remember, those that have a line have a solid. In this case, we don't have a line under it, so it has to be a dashed. So that gets rid of B and D. It can only be one of these two, but I need to rearrange them. So if I rearrange it, I'm going to take that 3x less than 2y plus 6. And when I rearrange it, I want it to look like y equals mx plus b. Well, I could just flop the whole thing over, or I can do math operations. I'm going to rewrite the whole thing and go, you know what? I have 2y plus 6 is greater than 3x. Subtract 6 from both sides, and I have 2y is greater than 3x minus 6. I divide everything by 2, and I have y is greater than 3 halves x minus 3. Greater than means I'm shading above. So am I shading above the line here or below the line? Well, this is below because I know if this were a tree, it'd fall on this guy because he's below it. This guy is above it. So the shading is above. So my answer is C. Now, I could have done this, solved that slightly differently, and so I'm going to show that as well. Initially, we have 3x is less than 2y plus 6. I could subtract 2y from this side, and this goes away. And now I have 3x minus 2y is less than 6. I could subtract 3x from this side, and now I have negative 2y is less than negative 3x plus 6. Divide everything by negative 2, and I end up with y 3 halves x minus 3, which is what we had before. But because I divided by a negative, I have to flip the sign. Okay, we can work this one of two ways, but we do need to get it into y equals mx plus b. Most important thing, though, is right off. If I see this symbol, I know I have to have a dashed line, so that narrows it down to 2. Number 41, what is the slope of the line that passes through these 2 points? Easiest thing they do is to plug this into Desmos. And basically, I'm going to say, you know what? This is my x, this is my y. So I have a 10 and an 18, and I have a negative 5 and negative 12. And I'm going to get y equals mx plus b, and that's my slope, and that's what we're going to be looking for. So let's switch over to Desmos and do that quickly. So I'm going to hit the plus button, and that gives me a table. And I have 10 and 18 and negative 5 and negative 12. I'm going to hit the domino sign, and there's my linear regression. And I have y is 2x minus 2. So I'm going to write that down on my equation, my paper. Y equals 2x minus 2. Look back at our paper. M is my slope, so M is 2. This negative 2 is my y-intercept, but they asked for the slope, so B is 2. Okay, 42. What are the solutions to this? The solutions are where it crosses the x-axis. So let's find out where this, and we see a quadratic, so we know it's going to be a parabola. We know we're going to have this shape. So let's see where it crosses the x-axis. So to do that, I'm going to plug this into Desmos. Now, I need to rearrange this. I need to get everything on the same side. So right now they have x squared minus 2 equals negative 3x. I need to move this over, at least I think I do. So I'm going to do that by adding 3x to both sides. And now I have x squared plus 3x minus 2. And that's a lot better to work with. So let's plug this into Desmos and see what happens. So we have x, I put the little keyboard, squared plus 3x minus 2. And we see we're crossing in a couple places. I'm going to zoom in. And that's one. And this is the, and I'm going to go ahead and have it label it. And this is the other. And I'm going to have it label that. So we have, what do we have? We have a negative 3.56, comma 0. And we also have a 0.56, comma 0. So now we need to look at our answer choices and see which ones give us that. Now that's a little bit of a pain. So we're going to sit there and go, okay, which ones give us those values? So I'm going to add an extra row, and I'm going to try the first one. And it says 3, and it says plus or minus. I'm just going to do minus first. Minus, and by the way, put this top part in parentheses. Parentheses 3 minus the square root of 17. Close those parentheses. And we're going to divide it by 2. And we get negative 0.56. And it's like, no, we didn't need negative 0.56. We needed positive 0.56. So it can't be the first one. While we have all this, let's do C. And because all we have to do is put a negative sign in front and see what happens. And now we have a negative 3.5615. That looks good. So because we have that, I'm going to copy this over. And I'm going to change this to a plus sign. And we have positive. So our answer choice for that is C. Now, I knew it wasn't going to be B or D because this is a decimal answer. So the only ones that give me decimal answers are A and C. B and D were nice integer numbers, so it can't be B and D. So our answer to this is C. 43. In the expression shown, x is a value where the expression is defined. What is the simplest form of the expression? Write your answer in the form ax to the b power. Okay, so first off, this part right here, the first part, we don't have to do anything with it. It's good. But this other part's not so good. I need to do some exponent work. So I'm going to rewrite this. 2x to the 8th. This part's good. We can leave it alone for the time being. But this is like having a power of 1. So this is 3 to the first, x to the negative 1, and this is squared. Well, when we're working with exponents, the first thing I need to do, I have a power raised to a power. When I do that, I multiply my powers. So again, the first part, we get to leave it alone. We still have 2x to the 8th. But this times this gives me 3 squared. And this times this, a negative 1 times a positive 2 gives me negative 2. Oops, I don't want that there. I'm going to rewrite this. So I have 2x to the 8th. Sorry about that, guys. And we have 3 to the first, x to the negative 1 raised to the second power. So I said this part remained the same. I don't need to change it. But this, 3 times 1 is 3, or 1 times 2 is 2, because I distribute that. And this becomes x to the negative 2. Okay, anytime I have negative exponents, they need to swap. If they're in the top, I need to move them to the bottom. So I'm going to leave this alone. I still have 2x to the 8th. Now I have 3 squared. That's positive. But this x to the negative 2 needs to go down here, and it becomes positive. When it switches places, it changes signs. It goes from negative to positive. Okay, so next thing, I can simplify this. And by the way, this is a hard problem. This is one that if we don't get, it's not the worst thing in the world. 3 squared is 9. 3 times 3 is 9, and now I have x squared. Well, I can multiply 2 times 9, and now I have 18x to the 8th over x squared. Well, we're dividing, and when we're dividing, we actually subtract exponents. So now I have 18x to the 6th power, and that's my answer. That's a tough one. If we don't get that one, we're still going to be fine. We're still going to be meets or masters if we don't get that one. Okay, 44. which function expresses this relationship? Well, they say they graph a linear function. Okay, that's important. I know what it is. I know it's a linear. Well, if this is the case, I'm going to drop this into Desmos and I'm going to see which one of these gives me exactly the same thing. So I'm going to hit share and we're going to get one of those equations. All right. So plus button, table, and we have -1. And the first one is 27/7. Next one, 3. And we have 11/7. 6. And we have -1 divided by 7. Oops. -1 divided by 7. Then we have 10 and we have -17 divided by 7. I'm going to hit the domino button and we get a linear equation and there it is. Okay, so we have this great graph. All right. So I need to see which of these is the right answer. Well, I can do this a bunch of different ways. I can sit there and go, you know what? Let's input the equation. So let's do that. Y equals -4/7. Then we have a x plus 23 divided by 7. And guess what? That line is exactly the same one. So our answer choice appears to be A. I'm going to zoom in just to make sure it's exactly the same one. It's like, yep, that's exactly the same one. So my answer choice is A, but let's see what happens if we plugged in B. If we plugged in B, B was the same thing, except it was 31/7. It's like, nope, you got a parallel line, can't be B. Then we try C, and that was 19/7 plus 8/7. Nope, different line. And the next one is the same thing, but it's a 46/7. And so not the same. So the only one that it could have been is A, and we'd already determined that. All right, number 45. Quadratic function f has a vertex of 415 and passes through the point 120. Which equation represents f? So they're telling us that when they drew this thing, it has this point right here is 4,15. We also know it passes through some point where this is my x, this is my y, where this is a 1,20. And we need to figure out which one of these it is. And maybe it's facing this way. I don't know at this point. I don't know which way it's facing. So let's go ahead and plug these in and see which has that 415 first off. Now, I actually can tell that, but let's start with that and then we'll see about this 120. So we're going to go to Desmos and we're going to plot this. So I'm going to go to share. And let's get this out of there. And we're going to plot in -5/9 shift x minus 4. Oops. X minus 4. And we're going to square it plus 1/5. Okay, so I see a 415, but when I go to 1, it's like, oh, that's 110, and I needed 120, so that's not right. Y'all see that? See that 110? That's not the right value. So that's wrong. So A is not it, not it. So now the next one is 5/9. And we go, okay, we have a 415. That's good. And when I go to 1, I have a 120. So that happens to be the point that I need. So my answer choice is B because I have that 120. It passes through that point. Okay. All right. So we know that this is 120. So that's our answer. We know the answer to 45 is B. Stop that share. There we go. So the answer to 45 is B. Moving on to 46. A line is graphed on the coordinate plane. What statement describes the line? Well, it's a vertical line. Please don't forget about the angry man. Horizontal line is a y equals. Vertical line, hold on a second. So, but y is a horizontal line, x is a vertical line. So in this case, x equals, well, what does x equal? X equals 6. So we know it's a vertical, so it can't be this. It can't be this. So we have two x equals 6s. Now, vertical line. If it's a vertical line, we have the u here for undefined. So we have an undefined slope. This one's not right because the slope is equal to 0. 0 is a horizontal line. So if it's a horizontal line, it would have to be something like this right here. But that's not what we have. Okay, horizontal, this, so it can't be A. Our best answer choice to 46 is D. 47. The graph shows two lines, okay? Which ordered pair is the solution set for the solution of inequalities? So we have 2x plus 5, all right? So 2x plus 5, but they have a greater than. So first off, I need to know what 2x plus 5 is. So I'm going to put this into Desmos. And if I were to put it into Desmos, it would graph this line. But this says greater than. So that means I need to be shading above that line. All right, so I'm going to move that over to Desmos just so you can see where I got that line from. Two x plus 5. So there's that line. So that's the first line. But they said it was greater than. And remember, if it's greater, if it was going to fall, you have to be above it. So this guy's above it. So he's good. Now this one, I need to rewrite. Well, I need to rewrite it. And it says y. This says x plus y is less than or equal to 1. Well, I need to move this x. So now I have y is less than or equal to negative x plus 1. So if I'm less than, I have to be under this one. Well, if I'm under, that means I'm below. So I use this color. Well, the part that got shaded twice is this part. And notice the guy's below it, so he's getting crushed. So I need to know which one of these is in that area. Well, if I go to negative 5, 0, negative 5, 0, that's there. So that one looks good. I grabbed the wrong marker. So that looks good. So we can put a check by this. We go to 0 and 7. It's like, no, it's only in one shading. So that's not it. Can't be that one. We go to 5 and 0. That's in the unshaded part. So it can't be that. And then I go to 0, -7, and this part's only shaded one color, so it can't be this. So the only one it can be is this one right here. So the answer choice to 47 is A. Okay, 48. For a linear function, f of -3 equals 0 and f of 5 equals 4, complete the function in slope-intercept form. No, they made this really scary, but it didn't have to be. So what this is telling me, they're telling me that f of this is equals this. So this is my y and this is my x. This is my x and this is my y. So if I were to make a table of this, this would be -3 and 0, and this would be 5 and -4. All right? This is saying that, hey, the x's, because this is normally written as f of x. Oh, they're saying x is -3, f of x. So they're telling me x is 5. So when x is -3, y is 0. When x is 5, we have this. So now we have this table, and they want a y equals mx plus b form. As soon as we've done this part, this is a piece of cake. We can go to Desmos and it'll do all the work for us. So here we go. Share. And add a table. And we have -3, 0, 5, and -4. Domino button. And we get our equation. -1/2 x plus 1.5. So I'm going to write that down on my paper. I'm going to write y equals mx plus b, and then I'm going to write down y equals -0.5x plus 1.5. Okay, we're going to stop our share. And I notice right here they have an x. So this means this is my slope. So we need -0.5 for this one. Well, -0.5 is d. So that's going there. And then it says 1.5. So plus 1.5. Plus 1.5 is f. F is going there. Number 49. Which statement about the graph of the function is true? Okay. So first off, I see this and I go, oh, this is an exponential. So y equals a times b to the x power. This is my start. And by the way, this is b is greater than 1. So this is growth. Okay. So let's go ahead and plug this into the equation and see what happens to this. We're going to plug this into Desmos and see what this looks like. So we have y equals 35 parentheses 1.4, and we're going to AB button and press X, and sure enough we cross at 35, 0. So what do we have? The y-interception is 0, 35 xy. That's true. The x-intercept is 1.4. No, we never get that. We have an asymptote. So we never cross the x-axis. The graph of the function is decreasing. No, the graph of the function is increasing because it's growth, and growth is always increasing. The asymptote is 0.4. The asymptote is y equals 0. Because if I keep zooming in, it's like, no, that's not 1.4. We're getting closer and closer to 0. So that's it. Okay. So please remember, if your graph goes like this, that's growth. It's increasing. If it goes like this, that's decay and it's decrease. But we didn't have that. We had this. We have growth. So we are increasing. So we weren't decreasing. Our best answer choice was this because it crossed the y-axis at 35. Number 50, which expression is equivalent to this? Well, this is one where I'm going to put this in the Desmos, and then I'm going to put all the answers into Desmos as well to see which one lies on top of it. So I'm going to share the screen. And we have x squared minus 5x minus 6. And I'm going to zoom out so that we can see this thing. Okay, there it is. All right, now that I have that, I'm going to input these next ones and see which one matches. And the very first one doesn't, so we know A cannot be it. Continuing on, we have x minus 3 and x plus 2, so we'll make those changes. And once again, it doesn't match, so it can't be B. Then we go to x minus 6 and x plus 1. That one overlays perfectly, so our answer choice is C. Okay, if you get one time where it doesn't overlap perfectly, that means you entered something incorrectly and you need to start over. Okay, but this time it overlaps perfectly. We're done. Appreciate you watching. Look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thank you.